as pedestrian crashes have been increasing over the last 10 years to levels that we haven't seen in decades. We find that on an annual basis, about 60 to 70 people get hit. And so SGF yields is Springfield's pedestrian safety campaign. This program is designed to help bring those numbers down. Pedestrian crashes were decreasing for a long time till in 2009 broadband became publicly available, means most people started having cell phones. Also at the same time, most people don't buy sedans anymore, but most folks are buying SUVs these days, and these have a totally different crash patterns when a pedestrian gets hit. So crashes with an SUV are much less survivable than they would be if you got hit by a sedan. I think the City of Springfield and CU, we're all concerned about our citizens, and a lot of folks that are riding the buses will also be walking to the bus shelters, and so it is really important to keep those people safe.
So here at City Utilities, we take safety very seriously, and as operators of large vehicles on Springfield City streets, we feel like it's our responsibility to appropriately train our drivers in crosswalk and pedestrian safety. We not only exercise these skills when we're driving our routes, but at the end of the day when we all go home, we take those skills with us and we practice those in our own vehicles as well.
In Springfield we find that about half of the time it was a driver that failed to yield to a pedestrian. The other half of the time we find that pedestrians are stepping out into traffic when they shouldn't. So it's about 50-50 here. And so it is really important for SGF yield to work on those numbers, and the way we go about that is that we first focus on crosswalk compliance for motorists. Because if motorists don't stop for pedestrians at crosswalks, we can't go out and say, hey pedestrian, go out of your way to use a crosswalk, and then nobody's stopping there for them.
When we have a new driver start at City Utilities, they go through an intense training program, and part of that training program is crosswalk and pedestrian safety training. This teaches them to be on the lookout to continuously scan for pedestrians. We also have a bus simulator, and we use that technology to immerse the drivers in a pedestrian crosswalk situation, and it's just another training tool that we kind of have in our toolbox.
For pedestrians, it is really important to seek out those crosswalks. So even when the walk phase comes on, it is important to take a look around in front of you and behind to make sure there's no oncoming vehicles. So when you approach a crosswalk, make eye contact with those drivers, and when they do come to a stop, maintain that eye contact for a moment, and then cross as far as you can safely. Sometimes when there's multiple lanes of traffic, it's okay to stop in front of that vehicle and peek out and look again to make sure the other lanes are also clear. It's also really beneficial to wear bright colors, especially in the nighttime, but also during the day. For drivers, it's really important to pay attention at intersections, make sure there's no pedestrians around. Also, as you are approaching mid-block crosswalks, there will always be the neon yellow signs. So that gives you a cue that there will be a crosswalk coming up within 200 feet or so. And then drivers have to yield to pedestrians that are at or near the crosswalk.
So if you're looking to ride the bus, we ask that you stand at the bus stop sign or at the shelter so that the driver knows that you're actively looking to board our buses. And then when you're disembarking the bus, if you need to cross the street, we ask that you don't cross in front of the bus. Sometimes it's hard for the driver to see you. We ask that you cross behind the bus when you have a clear line of sight, or if they let you off and you're near an intersection or crosswalk, we prefer that you use the intersection or the crosswalk because that's the safest way to cross the street.
Pedestrian safety across the nation is really important, and here, particularly in Springfield, we want to make sure that our residents are safe.